Greetings, this is Frina Ridamentra, and welcome you to my recap, my first recap of an episode of Foresight Dive. Hey, tonight, the episode 11, previously on the, as followed by the last episode, to be continued. Why? Because a murder has happened. Sort of. Hang on. Just get for visual aid. They don't actually have it. Well, uh, Broomy, the broom that they always end the episode with by a cleaning up, or at least pretending to, was found murdered, bloodied. Don't it doesn't even have blood flowing in his veins, but basically establishing murder with a knife through it. After the intro and stuff, by the way, I'd be showing clips, but I still don't know how to work. From what I can tell, the clip the tool on YouTube is meant to share things with, and it's not. Uh, so I can't just record. So I need to actually have a recording app on to get clips for further use. Tonight, it's epi- this episode features Liam. You can see them there. Towson, Ashley, and Marisha. This is very interesting. And if we, as I later point out, as they go over the events of the previous episodes of Critical Role, which includes uh the trip to the Fey Realm. They talk about that. Uh, uh, um, the battle at the Malleus Key, and the part in the and due to the failure of that mission, the splitting of the party, we only half of whom we've actually started catching up on, and of that half, only one of their characters is actually in this episode of Foresight Dive. So a lot of the others will be their thoughts watching the other part group. As usual, I'm going to be trying to focus on like short notes. Hey. They mainly talking about the Feywild trip. It was talking about how cool that Nana Mori was, Fern's we'll call her a fairy godmother for now. She's a hag, but I think that a fairy godmother would actually be a good term for her, despite lack of lack of visual tying to the trope. Oh, they especially like the tiki barber, and also they kept gushing on how cool the Fey dragon it was. If you don't know what that is, you can just I couldn't record this do this recording right after I finished watching because had a time crunch and I didn't know how long this would take. my last recording was 45 minutes for Far From the Others, and while this was shorter, it's actually on the longer end of a four-sided dive episode, and which is actually reaching the lower level, the shorter end of the an actual campaign episode. Only with these questions and stuff, there's a lot more to fill. This is not even. I didn't even take a full page of get to a full page of notes on that one. Over 2 pages on this because because everything's more significant and stuff. I'm trying to keep it as brief as possible. Oh, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, I'm wearing the new tracksuit hoodie and the company joggers. Very comfortable. Oh, especially for the autumn. Now, if only this autumn day actually had autumn had autumn temperatures. I A few days ago I took out my AC. I just temporarily put it back. Okay. One of the questions asked was Ashley's wild shape preferences, or talking about, well, at least they were talking about, which is she says no badass things. She's going silly on all of them. Like no giant. Oh no giant eagles. Oh, I want a effing shoe bill. Not exact quoting, of course, but what the frick? Okay. Let's see. What was it? Okay. Oh. And this here's one that gets repeated. Throughout the episode, there are certain questions about how they feel about so many previous campaign characters re-showing up and their fates for sure doing so. Oh, on the little, they actually had a little reference. They all the decors like has some sort of reference to the show, and on the table next to the seats and stuff, the little there's now a little glasses with the name Vax on it, indicating his current state as a lens, an effin' lens. Oh yeah. Oh no better. Yes. One thing that Marisha would mention is like once once Bo was kind of captured, because she as a player really wants to go rescue her old character, but she also knows that she can't make and Laudna has no connection to Bo and has no reason to go rescue her, especially against bad odds as they were facing. So they're all also there may be a little bit of metagaming, and they all know that these are characters that finish their campaigns and stuff. They're uh, being these are all high level characters who are getting captured and defeated, and they are all at like mid level. So there's not much they can do against what's holding them. Liam's particularly noticed the irony about using a like I was an Aeolian collar to shut down Caleb's um magic, which is how I believe they defeated Trent. So also like I think I forget if it was Marisha or Liam. Yeah, yeah, I may probably let's see. But one of them mentioned that after that episode at the Ballet Ski episode, the apathy solstice. Ooh, these words are murder on the tongue. They couldn't sleep that night. Like they were so like. I think this was actually Liam. And keep in mind, if you while I'm playing catch up, if you want more information, just go look up the actual videos. There should be a link in this video's description for if you want to find and not miss out on any details. I have a very weird and indeterminate shooting schedule right now. Nothing concrete and stuff. It's when I have time. Oh yes. What is it? First. Oh yeah. They also kind of wondered how they knew Vax would show up, and said they had apparently the first attempt on Keyleth. I guess Vax must have had some sort of show up, and like they didn't know and stuff. So that was a practice to see if they could get him to show up. That's why I got. But anyway. Oh, and Richard did express like what like when asked like what if you saw one of your past characters die in this because they're discussing and they said if you had to choose which one and Marisha said between Keyleth and Go, she would rather have Keyleth Bites the Dust because Vox Machina sort of ended more on a solid ending and stuff. The My Nine, they still have some plot things and stuff left, and it doesn't feel like a fully finished story. So there's still room for more closure. Oh, closure. Not to mention that one of Keela's biggest fear is that she knows that if she lives out her natural lifespan, everyone she knows it will no long will have long been gone. Like she's a half outs normally live like 150 years or so, or around like twice the lifespan of an average human. As a level 20 druid, her age once she gets to level 20, her aging like is reduced. Speed is reduced by 10. She now have the rest of her life is now extended by a factor of 10. So she could be around for over a thousand. So be uh, even the lowest estimates for her lifespan will probably be over 1,000 years. So okay. Oh yes. Now we get to the discussions of some of the discussions of those recent one far from the others. Where they mentioned Liam's character Orm is not with this particular Group. Orm is basically the moral compass of the group. So who knows what crazy shit they could get up to in the future? Like also Also, they start talking about how the two guest characters, Dia, Diana and Frida, sort of like are kind of foils to certain characters, like or they f with. I have it right down FW, like F with. The other F ends Travis's character, because is Chet's ex. Well, Frida being another Ionotom is respected is kind of interesting for fresh cut grass to because and their relationship between them. Like they're like he's the first time meeting another true Aormaton, and especially one who seems quite different from him. So I have your FRIDA, FW's, F.C.G. Acronyms galore in this book, I swear. Also, since a lot of times the people they're playing with, like some of the people are the one people sitting right next to them, they don't quite see all of the facial expressions and all the reaction stuff. And some are commenting how much they're starting to notice Travis emotes while doing. Oh, good God, this is getting annoying. Emotes. A TOT. Oh, Tower of Inquiry, a TOI. Yeah. For now on, I gotta record make sure I schedule these to be recorded immediately after watching. Uh, um, the the first one, which was pulled from, which is question 45. Oh yes, they were asked. Each one were asked, "What is your favorite scene from the campaign that your character was not involved with?" Stuff mentioned includes the Chetney going in werewolf going after that shopkeeper who like think conned him or something. I forget that. And it's like, oh shit, they're going after. Like watching some of the Fern and Chetney's flirting and stuff. Like, I think Merchant mentions how they're like it was interesting watching their rescue mission for Laudna because of course she with her character dead she was out for most of that, and a lot of them calling Delilah on her bullshit. My censorship is very sporadic. I just realized. Also, they mentioned the bit with the Kokwa. You know, no bad, no bad ass indeed. Ashley, oh yeah, I don't think Ashley ever answered which ones was hers. Like, okay, next was a Liam pull. He pulled number 50. Your character's big. Ah, yes. What basically asks what surprises them about their own characters while they are role playing, like where they realize, wait, the way he is now, like well, wouldn't he be doing this? Like I didn't even think of it, but yeah. So, but oh yes, Talison's was like, so like, how, what does it mean to be like an exaggerated punk? That is comes up plenty of time. Like they're talking about like life's. There was discussion about how life's unfair, but is it unfair because it's just that's how it is, or is it because of higher ups pulling strings? In this case, the gods. A lot of discussion about whether or not their characters truly they think that the gods should still be there. In this, can't hang on. Oh yes, they did talk about how Liam thought like was surprised about Vax suddenly reappearing because like it was Vax was a closed door. He's dead or stuff. He got one reappearance during the Dalian's corner, or the Vax the Vex Percy wedding. He was not expected to ever see this character again. Okay. Oh, okay, here. Oh yes, the novel and then Lana ended Ashley's was Lana ended breaking the. I don't remember her answering. I seriously don't. She must have said a real too quick or something. Of course, Taliesin was the bit about the shopkeeper because it was how dark it was getting. Uh, the first Trenton, Michigan, what is it? Yeah, why but yes, they don't keep referring to the gods as interventionist gods. Like they only really affect oneself and usually on someone's behalf. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm just going through the page now. Lana, oh yeah, it's like a Lana, the Ashton Lana relationship. It's fun. I was supposed to say maybe you could just read some of this, but now I really think I think from my days of doing just reactions, the screen is still inverted, so you really can't read. Basically, how they have similar about they've both characters have been brought back to life. Actually, I think both of them brought back multiple times in their backstories, and and Action kind of loves like poking at Lana, trying to get her to because he knows she can't be that fine with it. Yeah. Well, basically, Lana really wants to be past it, and in Ashton's like mindset is like, yeah, how could you even think about getting past this? Like, how dare you? And Ashton choosing not to believe it is law and past it, like choosing not to believe that, like whether it's denial or something. But yeah, clearly they think it's clearly a sign of Ashton projecting. They talk about like what places in Alexandria are there mind palaces on. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, to take a while. Never expected how much she's going to think. Oh yeah, it's like basically how, well, because of like pre-game and stuff, going back, building backstories. He has these. Liam talks about how he has synthetic memories of Orm's interaction with his past family stuff before they died. And Townsend talks about his mind palace is kind of they go off the topic here, but talking more about about mind palace, like how there are certain parts of minds of Whitestone that are Townsend's, like the library, the garden, the clock tower, the ruins to east. Was that where they found that bow? Can't, oh, and and they also discuss Ashley's love of making out cringe, like not just like oh, don't you? It's like don't you dare! Biggest chaos gremlin in the show. Oh, and talking about how you could see Ashley's like Travis's reactions to someone's. Oh yes, there. Another question was asked about like what their like daily routines were and stuff. Like we know that Orm has there's like all of these exercises early in the morning. Oh, and they mentioned how they don't roleplay this all, but Marisha kind of assumes that Lana's thing is taking out the small toy dollhouse and tucking in Pate and Sashimi in. You know, let's see. Apparently, at night if she's not used, then Pate has no power stuff. He is basically he has. They say he has to die every night. Oh yes, here comes another big plot thing that keeps getting brought up. Ash, when mentioning Ashton's routine of pain, medical chronic pain management, and how he does that, and how basically, I think thousands may have actually had a little bit of chronic pain stuff. I know that Dan Carson, the lawkeeper who was on set, loves Ashton because is a character representing that. Because she definitely has it. Hmm. Oh yes, and all their favorite spells are class features. Lana, former Dread Fern, Sleight of Hand. I could have swore there there was the other side. Huh? Oh, Orms is a Druidcraft. I don't have one for Travis here. They did mention how as a druid, Fern has all these classes. Orms is druidcraft, like his space spell. Fern's favorite is the one is our get she gets her one level in rogue. Still wondering if those who will ever get more levels of rogue. I even tried to submit a question for not Tower of Inquiry, but like when they did the those cups in the tankers. Oh yes, the deep dive. But then upon actually, because I only started, I haven't watched every single deep dive before, and actually got around to watching the first. I found out uh, all of these deep dives are made in house. They're not fan submitted, but I really wanted my my previous recap of the Far From the Others ended with my revealing of my homebrew rogue class, the underdog. The underdog was originally meant as a joke to be placed on the deep dive submitted question. They're saying, would if Fern and Chetney would ever pick up things and more levels rogue, and if they chose a subclass, would it be for what they like the obvious ones like for Fern to be the thief, while Chutney would be actually mastermind based off Chutney, the inspiration character before from the Christmas special. I said I even would put things like I would offer my own subclass, but I don't think uh, Matt would survive the punishment of having a lycanthrope, blood hunter slash underdog rogue. So who am I kidding? They already got enough puns of it anyway. Okay. Oh yes. They said how Orm feels about knowing what the reason why the Zephyr was attacked and stuff, and how everything it all to get killed there. So they get that. It goes, and his response: "We've been played. We've been played." This was well planned. So many things to make sure that Keyleth showed up. Oh, and it's not just that. Like or specifically called in Keyleth to help with this. So getting more comfortable. This is okay. Let's see. And Ashley is a little weird because now certain spells won't work as enough, and now that Orm's not there, she's off the leash, and which means she realizes she's scaring herself because Lana will always validate. What were we talking about on this one? Okay, hang on. Deep dive, deep dive. Where's the? Oh yes, this is about her Imogen's Lana struggling with some of Imogen's choices, like some of the, as I said before, some of the stuff, the sentiments of the Ruby Vanguard, they don't disagree with, or they're not sure if they disagree with at least. Or yeah, Healthy Cycle, however. And I thought that, and it's like one of them was just like we could all have this nice thoughts about that stuff, but the thought experiment does not include all the consequences of what the Ruby God's doing. Like, yes, the world might be better without gods, but will it be better with something God eat her? Also, the fact, whatever the goal is, they're still doing very nasty things to come. There's like they are murdering people. There's stuff. Uh, Lucy, what was the name? Lucidian. So that freaking brain, like wiped someone's brain, like a great mind's brain, because we're trying to withhold stuff. Yeah. Yes, and while while they're not all following the gods, it was a god. It was a god hater, Osanthu, who killed Laudna as well as other instances. While she was brought back by a god lover, Pike. You know, regardless of what the you think of the actual this, the people who under them though were not they were better off with one or the other. We certainly have no things about the moral integrity who has the more moral high ground between their followers. Oh yes, at one point he said, "It's not like here where we can deny existence. The gods are clearly saying, basically, this is Taliesin talking. You can't deny." Uh, he says, trying to deny the existence of gods and where they clearly have their place is like trying to say the earth is flat, and then looks directly at the screen. It's like yes, I'm looking at you, Sam Riegel. Also, he mentions how like two some of his characters are uh, Molly and stuff, and like things are like definitely God's things like aren't favorable. But he also played Caduceus, who will have the complete opposite view. Real quick, how long is this run so far? Hey. This is a long thing. Packed. Even when they got to like the end, when they're just doing play a game, they still asked more questions. So like, oh, it talks about like how when when Marisha and Townsend's character says, Marisha always thinks about later. I should have done this differently, or this during those, or phrased it differently. And I think they explain that Ashen may be a little jealous that Lada, after going through this, like last I heard, she had when she came back, she had all Bell's hells with her and stuff. Good. Last time he died, his crew basically were gone. They just so he basically slightly resents Lana for actually having more support and being handling the situation better. They're also wondering how all this is like they a potential apocalypse has been triggered and stuff, and the effects are magic stuff. They're wondering how it's also affecting Rex Alexandria, specifically Dorian and the rest of the. Orm is wondering about Dorian and the rest of the Crown Keepers, which was his and Fern's group before. Bell cells. They re-mentioned like Fern is terrified of Linus, like was it Cad did some small person basically just wipes her mind and stuff like. Essentially, that character is dead as that character. Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah. From about 5. Oh yes, like they go about how Liam had a had their characters from all 3 campaigns on the same map. Oh yes. At one point, apparently, when talking to Laura, Richard says, "Well, I habitually keep making characters that have an issue not working, just won't retire, so they just keep doing things, and maybe it speaks more about me that than it does anybody else." Everyone else lets their characters rest and go to sleep, and I don't. I don't. No, I don't know why I'm like this. Like a fake little nice rant for. Oh yes, they're talking about Ashton's thoughts about his abilities. And Ashton thinks that his character's specific abilities are. I mean, Travis thinks Ashton's abilities are a metaphor. Like Ashton does not know how they work, but neither of them. He comes on predictably. His character is essentially their version of Naruto Uzumaki. That's not their thoughts. That's my thoughts. Like sheer unpredictability. Oh, and Liam's thoughts about the Bell Cells lineup. It's the 3 witches, the 3 bodyguards. The 3 witches are yeah, the 3 strange witches. Imogen, Lada, and Fern. The 3 bodyguards. The melees. Is Chetney, Orem, and Ashton. And then there's the robot. Oh, they're talking about. I think this is during the Mousecade. Like one of they would Orem. They talk about how Orem like felt what Orem's thoughts about killing the halfling who was trying to surrender. During that, I think it was during the Mousecade. Isn't? He said he would have done. He said he would have done it if it hadn't been Ashton, but he would have regretted it. And when they saw the Ashton specifically took the locket because he kind of he feels like uh uh have I been saying basically Townsend? I think I've been saying Townsend. Travis says Townsend, but Townsend says Sorry if there's been any confusion, but Towson mentions how Ashton can relate more to the. He knows that if this person has the lock and stuff, this is not a kid he's waiting for him. This is why this locket is a picture of why he's there. It's saying there's no way this kid's actually still alive. This is the reason for joining the. And no one else considered that it maybe not basically it's not an orphan being. And they talk about like Fern's sort of admiration for Ira, I think the way they describe it is his confidence in his creepiness. Thank you. And how Lana hates not learning where I think she's talking about that meant to say like Lana. Basic Mercer talks about how Lana hates not knowing where Imogen is. Also, they brought up and Mercer was not aware. Lana right now doesn't have pate on her. I forget where pate is, but myself, but I don't. And then wondering, with all the magical interference going on, can she actually get him back? If he was out, I'm thinking of like if Lana is well, yeah, I think if Lana is truly without both Imogen and Pate, she might start having a breakdown. Tells us how he finds F.C.G. He's dangerous because he can turn on everybody like. But the real thing is dangerous. For he thinks is that F.C.G. seems to be seeking some sort of martyrdom sometimes, like putting him in dangerous situations and stuff. And he thinks he's gonna crack because eventually he's gonna do that, but it's gonna result in someone he's trying to help getting hurt, and he's not gonna be able to handle it. Oh, they also asked if you had to spend one day with your character, where'd you go? Orm was a jit. Really? I don't remember putting that down. Well, I don't want. I guess they said Orm's thing was a gym. Asha basically go to a concert. So Lana, go a Texan taxidermy club, and then and Ashley would want to go to Disneyland with Fern. And I think they also would like to see how Ashley's reaction to Disneyland would be. And then they were asked if they were to design back in Camping 2, Caleb's spell, which was instead of a magnificent mansion, it was a not what they call a nine-sided tower. What their new characters' rooms would be in the tower. Basically, Fern's would be like her room back in the Feywild, but expanded. Actually, in mid-90s 16 kids' room. Also, they kind of agree on the number and the kid is that all the rooms would probably be connected through like a hotel room, like a connected room. Oh, and Marisha's the children museum. Oh, they discuss then they discuss what moments in the campaign made them really feel like they were like examined. There was like Talzin's the trudge through the resolution in campaign 2. The most he ever felt like Clay, Liam's going to Rexham and having that fight in the cathedral, especially when the glass shattered. Oh yes, when Russia's like when they were going through the heart to the Hardmore or through the jungle that jungle check. The conversation with him, not to mention with all the light. It was the first time they had the real lighting cues and the special effects on the stage. Ashley's was like the set through the ruins of Aor. Oh, Ilium's was big. Like the matron of ravens, coming for Vax at the end of camping. I can't. I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I can remember every effing moment from that day. Oh, and discuss what their character's favorite movie genre would be. Lada would be actually romance, specifically Regency romance, like stuff on the build stuff. Uh, Orms would be more like adventures things, like stuff like Crouching Tiger and Aeroflame. I think they listed one out. Fern soap opera. Ashton would mention like documentary. Well, he said documentary, but I think he also said something else. So I have here doc somewhere. I also mentioned like Princess Bride and Zoro for Orem. I think he started saying horror, but then he went to docs and like horror. Also mentioned horror soaps like what you call Dark Shadows and stuff like that. And then we get to the break. No real announcements of the appointment, especially since as we those announcements may no longer be valid because I'm catching up. But then they start playing a movie out where they use with a video game where they characters are trying to move furniture out into a van or a truck, and I think the person can also try to do as little damage as possible. Not sure if they got the point of that. So many windows, so many. Oh, they talk about they answer some more questions about Orum's about understanding Imogen's waffling. I'm not sure what that term means exactly, but about the room guard. And it's like she knows he knows that he Orm knows that he wants that Imogen wants a relationship with mother, but hmm, it's a simple solution to a pretty complicated problem, though. Basically, saying, yeah, basically they're all kind of at this point agreeing like they kind of agree that something the gods aren't perfect stuff, but just simply get but the well, how the way of trying to fix that is no. Oh yes, here's Ashton. Well, they have how actions like feelings about calling a favor with Gianna Hexam, that he said, well, the only thing he said mentioned the only thing he knows a supervillain calling it in favors of that is like one of the only ways he's really helping with the group. Fern loved how they mentioned and like they talk about the rescue, like Namor is rescuing Fern, and how she didn't want. Lotta, of course, loves the Fey Realm. And basically, they kind of wish they could have had more time in the Fey Realm, but they're on time crunch. I think they also mentioned like if they could get anything or take anything from Maury's house or whatever it is. I think Talza just wants some other. At least one of them says they would like to take the tiki bar. They love that tiki bar, apparently. Oh, they explained what was the thought process about giving including the Kenku and like for Ashton's backstory stuff. And said what giving that. It said I was in my house trying to think of something weird to give them. Oh, they also discussed like one of my favorite things is that one of the questions asked Fern, what's Fern's feelings about the fact that as a Rose is born, what happened was well, she partly powered it. She was one thing people being used to power that, which caused a situation. And honestly, I this is probably the most realist thing is that it just hasn't. She hasn't stopped to consider it like Fern wouldn't have stopped consider like she wouldn't have thoughts like had time to think about how this about her part in all this. Well, they talk about like since they're playing a game called Movie, they discuss like which characters and things would be the most helpful or least helpful in a move, and they all and after it's I think they agreed that front would probably be the least helpful move, well, or would probably be the most helpful. Oh, one thing a lot of us gonna be missing about Pate is not just having the command, but also the fact that his ability to heal her to full hit point. Mm. They talk about Matt's ability to rhyme. I don't remember what this rhyming was. I don't remember when there was a rhyme, so I don't. Oh, and they talked about Oren's thoughts about how the Wombo actually picking him to giving him a gift, something to help out, and of how he didn't ever felt really truly important enough to have something like that. Like he grew up with all these stories about Vox Machina and that and saving that, all the things that. Now he's in his own story. It's like, and he's going through his own things. It's like I'm a rebel, and I think that's how it ends with a except for a post credit scene where after he's in Mobby, with someone telling Ashley, "Hey, you have no idea what's coming," but and if you look closely, you can very clearly see this. This is the thought to be deceased Broomy. Big plotters, I know, and that's how it goes. Well, to wrap this up, let's talk about my homebrew. As promised, here's the one was an early one I made. The Records Crowbar. Kind of like a normal, like just like crowbar stuff. which then can extend to becoming a quarterstaff. Getting twice the length. Gets twice the length. And becomes basically a +2 crowbar. Stuff. Attack rolls. And it applies to attack rolls, and when it's something utilizing the leverage, using the crowbar as leverage, you also add +2 to your strength check. And you also have advantages and to all effective stats when used on an object, structure, or construct. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I made this, so. Also, of course, this has the siege effect, which basically does double damage to any items, structures, or construct. Okay. And that's it for this recap. I thank you for joining me. This is Free Dementia. I wish you good fortune in the quest of life.